It's day 46. We're going to look at two-dimensional dictionaries, which is a little bit easier to manage than a 2D list, and also see the return of your favourite legally distinct video game ripoff, MokeBeasts. So we learned a few days ago that the big difference between a dictionary and a list is that a dictionary has keys. For each row on a dictionary, it has a key name and a key value. The value is what it's worth, and the name is what it's called. We can use this to our advantage massively when we build a two-dimensional dictionary, because we can actually call things by their distinct key names. What does that look like? This works very differently to how we dynamically add to a 2D list. In that, we need to use the append function and the remove function, and there's a bunch of stuff there that is quite difficult to manage. A 2D dictionary is much easier, but has some limitations. In this example here, I've started off by making a dictionary with nothing in it, and that's clear from just the two curly braces with nothing in them. I then use an infinite loop to ask for the name, location, and the weapon of each character in this game of Clue. Line 7 is where the magic actually happens. Because there's no append, there's no special function, I just create a new dictionary entry with the name of my character. I do that by using the name of the dictionary and in square brackets, the name of my character. This happens to be a variable in this case, so I can pull the data in from there. I make that equal to a new dictionary, and this is the two-dimensional aspect. This is the columns going in there. I've got one column called location, which holds the location, and one called weapon, which holds the weapon. And if I print that out, I'll be able to see roughly how that's looking. Let's see what's happening. Now, again, we need to be legally distinct from Clue for reasons. So we'll have Colonel Brown in the library with the candlestick. And you'll see that got added. Now, the interesting thing about this to me is that we haven't got a specific field called name. That is actually the name of the dictionary. The dictionary is called Colonel Brown, with a location of a library and a weapon of a candlestick within it. Now that is conceptually a little bit different to the way the 2D list works. Let's add another person. Lady Blurple, which we know is a bluey purple, with the rope in the study. And that got added as a completely different key. The key is Lady Blurple, and the value of that key then is another dictionary that contains within it the location and the weapon they're using. Once again, you may want to create a pretty print function for this. So we're using more or less the same code as we used previously. We're using for key and value include items, which will take out the key and the value for each particular row within our dictionary. It should then print out the key and the values. Let's see how that works. I'm going to use some test data just to show you what's happened here. So it created one item with A, B, and C as the values. Let's do D, E, F as the next three, and you'll see what's going on here. It is also printing out the embedded dictionary a bit weirdly, so we need to have a nested for loop again. So by adding this nested for loop, where I'm pulling out the sub key and the sub value from the value, if you remember the value is our embedded dictionary, I should be able to print out all the data in a nice way. So there you go. That's a nicer way of printing that out, and we're able to access it. If we want to access an individual element, we'd need to use the two square brackets functionality as we did before. Okay, here's a reasonably simple example where you can see what I've done. I've created a way of recording the amount of days completed in the 100 days of code and their streak record, how many days they've done consistently one after the other. I've created those individual lines of code, and then I've created a new dictionary which uses the name of the person as the key, and the key value is the dictionary containing that sub data. Let's see what happens when I run it. Okay, so it looks very similar to those 2D lists. It's a list within a list. But how do I access a single element of it? Well, just as before, I can put the name of one of the keys in square brackets to access that. So I wanted to see just Erica's, I could see the results there. How do I pull out a specific thing from there though? Well, just like 2D lists, it's another set of square brackets immediately afterwards and the name of the sub key in here. In this case, let's have a look at the days completed. So this should give me Erica's days completed. And it works. So if we want to directly address a single piece of data in a two-dimensional dictionary, that's really easy. But let's take a look at how dynamic ones work, because this is a bit more of a head scratcher. Common problems with this are fewer and far between, because if you're getting your head around this sort of concept, well, you're probably doing okay, to be perfectly honest. And the main problem that we get is this. Nothing looks too awry. Let's give it a key error. Key error means that key doesn't exist. There is no key called days complete within the Erica dictionary. Well, why is that? And that's because I've called it days complete ed. Days completed, which is different to days complete. So by adding that in there, we're able to access the correct piece of data. The worst case scenario for a 2D dictionary is that you're going to end up with an ever so slight error when you try to access a value. Once again, there's a bit of broken code that I'd like to fix for me. If you could give that a go, I'd be most grateful. Your challenge for the amazing day 46 is I'm going to ask you to produce the legally distinct rip-off MokeBeasts full-on Mokedex. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that somehow. Anyway, just like we did last time, and you're welcome to jump and go and get that code to create the individual record for a particular beast, is I would like you to be able to store multiples of those. I would like you to be able to use a loop to keep asking them for new beasts you've encountered, add the data, and add it to the 2D dictionary that you'll then print out in a nice way using a pretty print function that you've defined. Once you're done, please share it with us on Replit using the publish feature, and also by using the hashtag Replit100 days of code so we can find your amazing copyright defying code for ourselves. Tomorrow is another challenge using 2D dictionaries and a version of Top Trumps that can actually be played.